Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. That anyone might want to become a Catholic at this moment might seem to some courageous, to others foolish, and to some downright absurd. However, the pursuit of the truth has always led people to the church, even in rockier times than we're living through. I'm one of those who believe that anyone who is choosing to embrace the fullness of the faith at this point in human history is indeed courageous, particularly as I referred in last week's Nugget to the attempts to force us to comply with anti-Christian norms in secular society. I was speaking with a friend a few weeks ago who told me he'd been a Catholic for 20 years. His next comment was interesting. He said he'd come into the church at exactly the right time. That time, of course, was 2002, at the very height of the sex abuse crisis. The point he was making, a very important point, was that he became a Catholic because he had come to the realization of the truth and was not deterred by the failure, the very awful failure, of some members of the church to live up to their exalted calling. Although it's become something of a cliche, living the faith is really a journey, with journey's end being only one of two possible destinations. There are very few journeys which are inevitably without some troubles or mishaps, or even periods when one is completely lost. However, resumption of the journey and a clear-sighted decision to complete it will usually be enough to get back on the straight path. Preparing the scriptures just a couple of weeks ago, when I knew that a member of the congregation had made the decision to become a Catholic, I was struck by some words of the wonderful writer and true evangelist C.S. Lewis. Lewis, of course, despite his friendship with, among others, J.R. Tolkien, never became a Catholic, although he did move from atheism to committed Anglicanism, when such a thing sounded less like an oxymoron. Possibly it was his Ulsterman's deep-seated ambivalence towards the faith that made such a move impossible. Lewis wrote, and one can easily substitute the word Catholic for Christian, that if you're thinking of becoming a Christian, I warn you, you're embarking on something which will take the whole of you. Two words jumped out at me from that brief statement. The words embark or embarking and whole. One embarks, and quite often it was used for boarding a ship or a boat on a journey. To continue the metaphor, that kind of journey can most certainly be rough, dangerous, and entail many adventures, so too most obviously the Christian life. The use of whole was important, as in the journey of being a Christian, or perhaps the journey of becoming a Christian, will take every part of us. In other words, the need for integrity or wholeness. The scriptures for that Sunday included, as you might recall, both the words from the book of Ecclesiasticus, reminding us that God has offered us the choice of life or death, and the Lord's words in the gospel that our virtue must be deeper than that of the scribes and Pharisees. That deepening of virtue is the strengthening of integrity, a lifetime's work. The vices seem to need very little exercising to catch hold, but the virtues need work. Ash Wednesday was yesterday, beginning a season of preparation for the celebration of the centre of our faith, Easter, the life, death, and resurrection of the Lord, the Paschal mystery. Most of us have embarked on the journey, but we're not yet whole, and we've not yet let him take hold of all of us. We're not fully integrated. Perhaps the only valuable resolution to make is to ask for the grace to eliminate at least some propensity for vice and strengthen or deepen virtue. Brethren, rejoice, be perfected, be comforted, be of the same mind, be at peace, and the God of peace and love will be with you.